Hey everyone, it's Josh from Brandish Insights. Today on Bright Ideas in Branding, we're going to cover a dogfight in the industry. Let's take a look. So here we have an article entitled "Digital Advertising is Facing Its Ultimate Moment of Truth and Billions Are at Stake" by Lauren Johnson. So Mark Pritchard from Procter & Gamble and other CMOs, basically marketing royalty, they're demanding that Facebook, Google, and other advertisers give them better tools to do their advertising. And so they frame this up, $2.4 billion marketing budget for Procter & Gamble. That's huge. And he's saying that, Pritchard is saying, we believe at least 20 to 30% of waste in the media supply chain because of lack of immutability, non-transparent contracts, non-transparent measurement of inputs, fraud, and now even your ads showing up in unsafe places. So wow, he's got a lot of grapes. Let's unpack that a little bit. So the first thing he's saying is transparency. So number one, where are our ads showing up? We need to know that. We want to show we want to see the websites. We want to see, what was the true engagement with those ads. And since he made a big stink and actually pulled some budget back in March along with a bunch of other folks, these advertising platforms have made some improvements. So Facebook and YouTube have given better controls to make sure that ads, don't show up in places where brands don't want them to, among other things. And Pritchard is saying that there is some progress being made. So he's saying that about 50%, halfway there, folks. But we need to get even further. So he's saying that there is improvement about 80% of the way there in terms of the transparency he'd like to see, 50% of the way there in terms of fraud. So he's saying that there's still a lot of wasted dollars because essentially these ad platforms are doing shady things, and he's pretty disappointed with that. That's the thing that's lagging behind the other two, transparency. And the third thing, which is measurement, he says that we're about 60% of the way there. Now, when it comes to measurement effectiveness, Pritchard is saying that they're about 60% of the way there. Well, what is that 40% gap? And this is where Keith Weed, also featured in this Adweek article, is saying that brand safety, ad fraud, ad blocking, the 3 V's, viewability, verification, and value, all important issues. Concerns me, though, as an industry, that we look at them each with tunnel vision, jumping from one to the other, rather than seeing them as connected and part of a holistic digital landscape. And that's the clue that I think we should be following. That brings us to our other article. Usually we only want to feature one, but we're going to feature two today because the Drum, Rebecca Stewart, she has covered this little study that says 90% of publishers, brands, and agencies say that cross-media measurement would help drive digital ad spend. And so it's interesting here in this study of, I think it's 700 or so publishers, advertisers, and agencies, etc. They're saying that they want tools that don't just measure advertising, but measure across media, so into organic, into social, into referral. Ultimately, what these folks need is brand measurement, and that's why I think both this article from the Drum and the article from Adweek are connected. The CMOs over at P&G and at Unilever and other places, they're saying advertising itself is starting to break down a little bit, and we need better measurement tools there. And what the Europeans are saying, and I'm hoping there's studies that will make their way to the US that are similar in nature, is that we need to be measuring things across media, not just with advertising, and that's where that 40% gap that Mark Pritchard is talking about comes from. So that, I think, is this week's bright idea in branding, is that we need better overall measurement if we want to cover the spread that Procter & Gamble and others are saying still exists between the advertising tools that we have today and the marketing effectiveness that we're looking for. Thanks for watching this episode of Bright Ideas in Branding. This web series is brought to you by Brandish Insights, the world's first brand analytics platform. Click on the links to visit us, subscribe us, watch more videos, you name it. Until next time, stay brilliant.